Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. In crazy, wild, wacky news, the price of Bitcoin recently hit a new all-time high of $70,000, but not in the way that you would expect. It hit $70,000 on a decentralized exchange known as Pulse Chain, that is Pulse, and then Chain, catapulting from its current price level of around $27,000, $28,000, depending on when you're looking, in a flash surge. In an electrifying 20 minutes, the price skyrocketed, presenting a stark contrast to the current price. However, the meteoric rise proved transient, enduring for only around 10 minutes. If you have not been here for one of these situations before, they're always absolutely insane, regardless of which direction that they actually end up going in. And it's quite simple. It's always usually exactly the same. So, a couple of years ago, this was a more common occurrence where Bitcoin would actually have a flash crash. The idea of the flash crash is liquidity drives up, people aren't trading, the AI bots that are trading behind the scenes, someone messes up. It's always a little weird event that ends up happening. And in moments, Bitcoin on a random cryptocurrency exchange, sometimes before it's been Binance, sometimes it's usually been Coinbase. Bitcoin's price will go from literally $28,000 to around $500 over the course of about 4.5 seconds. The really crazy part about that is, and a lot of people tend to have random buy orders for around the $800, $900, $1,000, maybe $2,000 per Bitcoin. The idea being that for when it does actually have those random flash crashes, and it would drop from $28,000 to $1,000 per Bitcoin, if you had been joking around and had a buy order for an entire Bitcoin at $1,500, you would have purchased a literal entire Bitcoin for $1,500 because of the flash crash. Before, this was one of the craziest things ever because there were a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges who realized that they had made a mistake, or their systems had made a mistake, or something had gone awry in some sort of way, and they actually tried to not give the customers their cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, that they would have had because, you know, the trading order actually got filled and went through. So a lot of exchanges are trying to withhold this money. And of course, people completely lost it. They were like, nope, I had a buy order at 15. It hit 1,000. Therefore, I get my entire Bitcoin. And the exchanges were like, okay, fine. This is why it's not as often of an occurrence as you currently used to see before. The other complete flip side has to do with liquidity. It is extremely simple. It is literal just supply and demand. And this is my opinion. This is how I know that. I don't know how. I don't have the liquidity to be able to do so, but it's abundantly clear that the cryptocurrency market prices are in some way manipulated and kept down very heavily. When you hear that there are only 21 million Bitcoin, it means nothing to a lot of people. You can conceptualize the idea of 1 million of something, or even 21 million of something. You get the generalized idea. When you have to extrapolate from there and literally understand that there are more than 8 billion people on the planet, more than 150 million people on the planet are believed to be into Bitcoin, into crypto in some sort of way. Whenever we have this crazy news that there is a company who last week bought 8,000 Bitcoin, 16,000 Bitcoin, they own 140,000 Bitcoin. The Winklevoss twins in 2014 owned 200,000 Bitcoin. These gigantic numbers, you hear them and you go, wow, that's crazy, but it's only in the context of 21 million. So you sit there and hear that information and you only assume that the Winklevoss twins at that moment hold 200,000 while the other 21 million are out there floating around somewhere in the sea. If you add up all the numbers, and if you've seen the other videos that I've had before on the other channel, Money Rules, where I'm literally sitting there and I'm like, you don't understand what's going on, how much Bitcoin is actually being, absorbed and taken away from the market, especially every single time that we hear that prices have gone up, prices have gone down, and yet the whales still continue to buy. It is a monumental thing that I believe the largest whales and the richest people have somehow figured out a way to not only accumulate one of the rarest assets that we have had on this planet, but also seemingly at the exact same time make it seem like nothing is actually happening in the market. And this can be done a multitude of ways. This can be done by having proper sell orders and or buy orders, or more sophisticated ways with AI and or trading bots that I simply can't fathom, as I cannot do 75,000 transactions per second like a bot would be able to. But it comes down to the idea that the reason why Bitcoin hit $70,000 on this exchange was because there was not enough Bitcoin to go around. The actual momentum picked up so quickly, and people realized that there weren't enough, so people began to buy, and the sell orders completely skyrocketed, and then Bitcoin hit $70,000 on there. We've heard of this before. We've heard this. The main most popular one has to do with the kimchi premium in South Korea. South Korea is the second largest cryptocurrency market on the planet that we currently have right now. Many years ago, and it's even popped up in 2019 and 2021 as well. The way that governments are currently working when it comes to cryptocurrency regulations is very outdated, archaic. It's very ancient in its way that they say, well, if you are a resident of South Korea or Japan or South Africa or Australia, you are only legally able to use this cryptocurrency exchange within our borders. This is why there is a Binance US, kind of this idea. We don't want you using Binance, but you can use Binance US. As Bitcoin is finite and it is not infinite, Binance US can only hold a certain amount of Bitcoin at any given time. If everyone made a rush to Binance US and bought up all the Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price would skyrocket. It's logical. They don't have an infinite amount of Bitcoin. The decentralized exchange, Pulse Chain, sure as heck doesn't have as much Bitcoin or any other coin as Binance, Kraken, or Coinbase. So the supply dries up very, very quick. And that's exactly what happened on this exchange. And this is what I'm talking about. When you, and I believe there's some sort of smoke and mirrors as far as the wealthy people have figured out a way to make you can literally see as Bitcoin's price doesn't move, trends sideways, or even goes up a little bit and falls down by 4%, people will lose interest and they go, well, you know, Bitcoin's not really doing anything. And I'm like, no, they're constantly accumulating. If you look at what happened on this one decentralized exchange, just one exchange, people bought up what there was not a lot of, and the price skyrocketed. This is going to happen across all cryptocurrency markets at some point. This is going to happen to Bitcoin at some point. And I think that people aren't going to be able to handle it or deal with it. This is why a lot of times whenever you hear the eccentric billionaires in the space, whenever they are expecting like these crazy price moves or like these crazy things, it's because I'm certain that they know behind the scenes, not only are they buying, but their friends are buying. They have metrics that we don't have access to because a lot of these other things that you can get from banks and or BlackRock that you can like pay thousands per month to actually have all this like institutional data that's like flowing to you. You can see how much buying pressure you actually need to be able to move an asset. Like there are numbers that show how much Bitcoin has to be bought in order for the price to actually move. If you have a substantial amount of money and you coordinate this at the same exact time to push the market down or to push the market up, of course it's going to move. Logically, that's of course how it works. But a lot of people are completely surprised whenever we actually see a massive surge in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency prices because they go, well, the price hasn't moved for 8 months. No one's interested in it. Nobody wants it. And it's like, you have no idea what's going on. When I saw this news that just on this one exchange alone, that Bitcoin had skyrocketed to $70,000 just off of basic demand because this one exchange did not have enough Bitcoin. This is going to happen on every exchange at some point. And I think the only people who are going to be shocked are the people who, A, don't watch this channel because everyone else keeps pretending that there's like, you know, a massive quantity of Bitcoin actually out there, and people who aren't in the cryptocurrency market. And I think it's almost made by design in this way. We see that even people who are into cryptocurrency prices fall down. Bitcoin falls down to 16, 17, 18,000. 80% of the people leave the market. They no longer have faith in it. When you were completely on board before, when you thought Bitcoin was about to hit 100K, 150,000. Your optimism fades when it falls back down to 16,000, knowing good and well it's going to go back to its previous all-time high. And you will definitely be making, you will make $54,000, $54,000 just from that one movement back to its previous all-time high if you bought when it was at 16,000. It's completely insane how this market works. Anyway, I thought this was incredibly fascinating news. A lot of people were talking about it online because Bitcoin's previous all-time high was like, I think 69,470 or something really weird like that. So this is officially the new all-time high on a decentralized exchange just because liquidity was low. There wasn't a lot of Bitcoin. People started buying up stuff and the price skyrocketed. Very, 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 it's completely telltale for what's going to happen in our market as we continue to see, every single time we get the news that there is less and less Bitcoin and Ether on cryptocurrency exchanges, and we keep hearing that over and over and over, the amount of locked Ether inside of protocols continues to increase. The amount of staked Ether locked inside of the actual staking protocol continues to decrease. Ethereum is also deflationary now. There's going to be heavy price swings. And it's going to take catch a lot of people off guard. And I think but these are the moments that we need. We need the people who don't pay attention to FOMO into the market to benefit everyone else who has been buying over the course of the last 2 years. That's just the way that it works. Absolutely insane. Anyway, yeah, Bitcoin did officially hit $70,000 on Pulse Chain just because there was not enough Bitcoin to go around. Yeah. Oh, also, tying, loosely directly into this as well, this was also incredibly popular news. Bitcoin's price actually, so remember like 3 or 4 days ago, we had news that Binance is leaving Australia because I think Australia has very stringent regulations or whatever the case might be. It's not, Binance and a bunch of other companies are leaving Australia as well as Canada. On the news that Binance would be closing, I think Binance Australia or something like that. I forgot. Yeah, I assume it was Binance Australia. People on Binance Australia began to panic and then sold off their Bitcoin just on Binance Australia. But because there was such heavy buying pressure on this one exchange, the price dropped by $5,000 just on Binance Australia. So you had a very interesting situation where through arbitrage, a number of other people who had access to Binance Australia logically took their Bitcoin. They bought Bitcoin for cheaper on Binance Australia and then sold it somewhere else and made a $5,000 profit per Bitcoin. While the other side of the coin, you had people who didn't understand that they were selling it at a massive discount and they lost five. You understand what I'm saying? These people on Binance Australia could have taken their crypto off, gone to Kraken, gone to Binance, and sold their Bitcoin for the normal market rate. But because people were panic selling, they pushed down the pressure on this one website so much that other people began to go to Binance Australia, buy cheaper Bitcoin, and then sold each individual Bitcoin for 5,000 more on another website. I want reality to make sense. Like I just want people to stop and think for a literal second. Devastated is really not the word, thinking of having sold anything for 20% less because I panic sold and didn't look at the actual market numbers. That means that people who were using Binance Australia thought that Bitcoin's price had actually collapsed 20% in general, everywhere, and then began to sell off, losing 20% of its value while other people purchased it for a lower amount, went to another crypto exchange and sold it for higher. Yeah, that's the Bitcoin hit 70,000 and then also subsequently fell by $5,000 just on Binance Australia. I want it to make sense. I want things to line up and for, but that's the way the market crumble. I don't know, something like that. That's the Bitcoin up and down news. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in news, Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, thinks the decentralization of the project will serve as a wake-up call for the sector. Hoskinson recently shared an update with the community, during which he claimed that ADA, the cryptocurrency, is substantially more decentralized than any other cryptocurrency. I was going to show you a chart, but I've done that before. Hoskinson is not the first, and he will not be the last to say something as egregiously ridiculous like this that we have the literal math for. What was the other one? It wasn't Litecoin. Was it Tron? It was something in the last 2 months. There was another creator of a cryptocurrency project who came forward to announce that his coin was more decentralized than any other coin out there. And then, the internet is available for everyone and it's free. That's one of the main, points of it. I showed you that not only did, what coin was it? That coin did not have more nodes than Bitcoin. They did not have more users. They did not have more daily transactions. Their volume was, I think, 1/30th of what Bitcoin's was. It was just basic numbers, And decentralization is usually categorized as number of users, people on the planet who hold said coin, how many validators and nodes you have on the network. It's usually like how far spread out is everything. Is there one person who's holding 45% of the coin? Well, that's not technically decentralized. That 45% should be spread around at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million people. But it's like, sure, if you need to say these kind of things to keep the hype in your project, sure, why not? Furthermore, the executive emphasized that the Cardano Improvement Proposal, CIP 1694, would prove to be a game changer in decentralization, since it provides a framework for on-chain governance that will underline the Voltaire phase of the network. The last 2 weeks have been a little Cardano intense as far as Hoskinson also released informazione that apparently there will be multiple crazy upgrades happening to Cardano eventually. There was no time frame given. It was simply, we will have upgrades, and it is expected that sometime in July, I think that's what it was, that he would release news as to what they were going to be, but not actually when they would be or exactly what they're going to do. It was more of a, hey, big things coming down the pipeline, if you will. To guarantee that the community has the final say in how the Cardano ecosystem operates, the proposal will allow users to submit a governance action that must be approved by a constitutional committee. It is a group of delegation representatives, or DREPs, and stake pool operators, SPOs, with an S at the end. Moreover, the final release of CIP 1594 is anticipated, also for July of this year. Hoskinson, for his part, said that the Cardano's gradual move towards decentralization might help the project meet the requirements of crypto it's making sense now. Hoskinson said that Cardano's gradual movement towards decentralization might help the project meet the requirements of crypto regulatory regimes. Okay, so that's telling me that he probably, or the Cardano Foundation, has received a letter from the SEC stating that Cardano is probably not decentralized enough for it to warrant something that says that it is not a security, as we've heard Gary Gensler before talk about that he believes that every cryptocurrency is a security in some sort of way. Because I thought it was a little bit weird that we keep hearing a lot of projects, also Cardano, constantly mentioning that they're working towards decentralization. They're going to become more decentralized. And you cannot. Like, you literally can't. I can't stand here and say that I'm 5 meters tall. That is, what is that? What's 5 meters? Like 10. I can't say that I'm 10 feet tall. It just doesn't make any sense. You can't say that your coin in your project is substantially more decentralized than any other cryptocurrency when we have the numbers in front of us. I don't know. Hoskinson is a bit of a character. He's kind of like the new Justin Sun and Roger Ver. They're always in the news. They're just saying stuff to, like, I think just to have words come out of their mouth. I'm not really sure, but anyway, that's the, there's an upgrade happening in July. There's more news and updates happening in July as well that will be announced but not released. And ADA is substantially more decentralized than any other cryptocurrency. I mean, I believe it. Why would I not believe those random words that don't really make a lot of sense? Okay, that's the Charles Hoskinson news. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in news, the chief executive of Ripple says that the payments platform is looking to use its cash reserves of roughly around $1 billion to expand the company's offerings. Ripple is on a roll recently when it comes to acquisitions, buying up things, announcing that they are expanding, moving into different countries, being used by this country and that country and this institution, and they have a partnership in the UAE, and all these countries in Africa are using them, and this in Thailand and that in Mexico and all these other things. I'm not sure if it's excitement in the fact that the lawsuit will eventually be over. We keep getting news all the time that apparently the lawsuit's going to end soon. I'm not holding my breath. When it happens, it happens. But on the other flip side, Ripple seems to be, have gotten back on their feet. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And they're constantly announcing that they're going to be buying tons of things, but we didn't hear that they would be using $1 billion to also do so. Speaking at the Dubai FinTech Summit, Brad Garlinghouse said that the company is looking to grow and become more than just a payments platform and liquidity provider. He said, "I think what will be next is certainly something Ripple thinks about. We started with enterprise-based cross-border payments. We talked about there being 4 primitive pieces of blockchain technology: liquidity, compliance, custody, and tokenization. And Ripple really aspires to be more than just that, liquidity and cross-border payments. I think you'd expect that we will expand into some other areas, either organically or through acquisition. We've heard in the last 10 days, they've acquired, I think 3 different companies. They bought a minority stake in, I think, Bitstamp, another cryptocurrency exchange. What else was there? They're trying to become, I think, a lending company as well. Is there an XRP stablecoin? I feel like there is, or there should be, but I never hear anything about it. And I mean, also at this point, as Ripple, you can't really create one because that would prove centralization in some sort of way. So I'm really shocked that there hasn't been a company, a bank, an institution, or otherwise who has actually created, because I feel like that would definitely go hand in hand with the entire ecosystem, especially if it ran on top of XRP's ledger. And every time the stablecoin was used, XRP was also burned. That seems like that'd be I don't know. Anyway, that's the Ripple plans on using $1 billion to buy things and do things. So I wish them the best of money luck. I don't know. They'll be fine. They're all billionaires anyway. I've sat here before being like, well, good luck. And I'm like, wait. That person's worth like $840 million. I'm sure they'll be just fine. They don't need my well blessings with their 16 homes that they have around the world. That's the Ripple's going to be buying stuff, and they want to start expanding into more than just being a payments company. It seems logical. I have a feeling this is a lot of them being happy that the lawsuit's almost over. They probably have heard a lot from other companies within the United States who want to use their products, who will be able to do so, whether there is or is not a security. What's the word? Anyway, even if XRP is deemed a security, a lot of people in crypto don't understand that it would still be able to be used by everyone and by institutions. It's just that the SEC has to basically oversee everything. So regardless, Ripple will do fine. It's just more of a, if the SEC can't touch them, then they do 10 times better probably. All right. Yeah. Let's move on. Yeah. I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.